Welcome to Ielts Speaking section. My name is Jinson Jose and I will be your examiner for this part of the test.
Alright.
The session will be recorded for marking purposes. May I see your identification?
Sure. Here is my passport.
What is your full name?
My name is Kiran Tangachan.
How may I address you?
You can call me Kiran.
Okay, here's your passport. Thank you, sir. For this part 1, I will be asking you a couple of questions, precisely general questions, to get to know you better.
Alright.
So, Kiran, where do you come from?
I am coming from Kanur. It's a small village between KALADY and Ielts.
Do you work or study?
I am a student. I just finished my bachelor's in economics.
So, what is your future plan?
I would like to pursue my master's abroad, precisely Canada.
Alright, so why Canada?
There are a lot of factors, but prominently better living standards is the one.
Okay, so let's speak about your hobbies.
Sure.
What all are your hobbies?
I have a lot of hobbies, but mostly I watch a lot of movies and I play a lot of cricket as well.
Okay, what is the most popular hobby in your country?
For some reason, Indian kids are so much obsessed with cricket. They have a lot of cricket idols, and movies come later.
Have you ever changed your hobby ever since you were a child?
To be honest, I haven't, because I grew up with my brothers and they were fanatics of cricket as well. So I started playing cricket ever since I was a child, and movies accompanied me all the time as well.
Okay, so what about your reading habits?
I won't classify myself as a bookaholic, but still I would read, but not all the time. It's not actually my hobby. I only read if I have to, if I don't have a choice.
Okay, so can you recollect the recent book which you have read?
I read a book called Life is What You Make It, but it was actually 6 months ago during the lockdown time. It was written by a young author called Preeti Shenoy, and it was actually a self-help book.
So do you think reading is really important among children?
Indeed it is, because during the budding age, in order to shape their character and to get a good perspective, reading, even if it is small tales or Aesop stories, it's good all the time.
Okay, Kiran, so this is the end of part 1 session.
Alright.
Now we'll move to part 2, that is the cue card session. I'll give you a topic and you need to speak about that topic for at least 2 minutes.
Alright.
So you can note down if you need. So the question is, describe a foreign country you want to know more about, and you should say which country it is, where it is, how you know about this particular country, and why you want to know more about this country. You will have 1 minute of preparation and then you can speak. Okay, so let's start the speaking session, Kiran.
Sure. I always had a fascination towards South American countries, and 5 years ago, back in 2015, Netflix released a web series called Narcos, and the Narcos was about the rise and fall of Colombian drug lord Pablo Escobar, and ever since I watched Narcos, I fell in love with Colombia. Colombia got its name from Christopher Columbus, because it was him who discovered Colombia almost 700 years ago, along with the present day United States of America. And back in the 70s and 80s, Colombia did not have a good name. It was known for notorious criminals, drug cartels, prostitution centers, and so on. Whereas modern day Colombia is known for beautiful tourist destinations, hilltops, and of course football. They have a new idol, which is another Escobar, which Andre Escobar, and just like most South American countries, they speak Spanish, and the language itself sounds like music. And their cuisine, their food is somehow identical to the Indian cuisine, because there's a lot of spices, and Europeans are not familiar with the spices, but Colombians are. And if I get a chance to visit Colombia one day, I would visit Bogota first, because there's a Pablo Escobar museum in there, consisting of his casinos, his cars, and his other establishments. Then later I would visit Medellin and Santa Marta. Once in a while, I would listen to a playlist that I have in my phone. It's named Ultimate Narcos playlist. It contains almost 10 songs, and whenever I listen to it, I feel like I am living in Colombia. I was in the 90s, and that's pretty much I have to say about the culture that I would like to explore.
Okay, this is the end of your part 2 session. Now we'll move to part 3, that is the discussion part. I'll ask you questions and you need to answer at least 3 or 4 sentences.
Sure.
The questions will be regarding the same topic. What do you think is the best way to learn foreign culture?
I do believe that there is no substitute to practical experience when it comes to learning about a foreign country or a culture, because practical experience lets us know everything, to understand every bit of it. But still, it's not applicable for everyone. It requires a lot of money. So for such people, YouTube is always there, and not to mention the movies and TV shows of that country.
Nowadays, many of the developing countries like India imitate Westerners. How do you feel about this trend?
I would say that collaboration is necessary, but there is a limit for everything, because one should not lose his self-identity, as a person and as a country as well. So we need to have exposure, and we have to pick what's good from other cultures, but still we should make sure that we are not losing the valuable things that we have at the moment.
What do you think is the biggest problem to work in a foreign country?
First of all, the language, but sometimes I would say that climate sometimes surpasses language, because a person who grew up in a tropical climate cannot adjust that well to an Arctic climate all of a sudden. It requires a lot of time, and also integrating to an alien culture is not that easy as well. So there's a lot of barriers, but predominantly the climate.
Okay. Some people say that reading is the best way to learn about a culture. Do you agree?
Reading has its merits, but at the same time, there's a lot of substitutes to reading. That is, like I said before, there's YouTube. You can see a lot of videos. You can watch the movies of that country, or if you have money, you can go. So I won't say that reading is the best way, but the reading is indeed an option.
Alright, this is the end of part 3 discussion session. Thank you, Kiran.
Thank you, sir.